Alright guys, we are back again in our Black Sabbath epic adventure here. And we've blasted through all the 70s stuff with all the Aussie era. And now we've conquered all the 80s stuff with, going through several singers. Dio, Ian Gillan, Glenn Hughes, Tony Martin. And, we didn't review it, but, Ray Gillan was in the band at one point. Didn't have a full, actual studio album release. Of course, he did the demos of, he recorded the whole album of Eternal Idol, but yeah, he was a singer there too, and I'm pretty sure they had a couple other people kind of try out and fill in at some live shows and stuff. So the 80s was kind of a wild time for Sabbath, and the 90s is really no different in that regard, going through not really a bunch of singers, but kind of flip-flopping again, with some people. But right here, of course, today we open up the 90s with the one that, the first year of the 90s, 1990, Black Sabbath Tour. And yeah, I know, like I said in the last video, some people have pronounced it Tyr or whatever, Tyr is what they call it. But I looked it up. It's like a Nordic thing called, it's just pronounced Tour. But, and the cool kind of thing about that is, apparently, like on the back here, really cool cover art. Really, really Nordic looking. The kind of dark sky on the back too, especially. Really cool shot there. And right up here it says, Tyr, son of Odin and the supreme sky god of the northern peoples, the god of war and material valor, the protector of the community and the giver of law and order. So just really cool, like, Nordic vibe. And, this takes, pretty much this album, and we'll get into, real quick, the lineup. It's exactly the same, except we got a new and I think better bass player, Neil Murray, of course, from Whitesnake. So, he's added to the mix. Not my favorite bass player, or really super notable by any means, but he's better than the other guy, I think, whatever his name was, who just kind of, flies under that radar. But, this takes pretty much the Headless Cross dark, satanic vibe and just flips it on its head with a more heavenly, Nordic gods kind of thing, really theme. It's not a concept album, because it's not really telling like a whole story, but it's definitely themed pretty much all throughout, except maybe one song off here, which we'll get to. But yeah, the production, just like Headless Cross, it's just incredible production. Very, very atmospheric and environmental, very airy, and it just feels big. It feels like a huge album. And we'll just pop right into it with the opener that really sets the tone for this album, Anno Mundy. And man, you just get kind of this this chorus thing going on, this chorus kind of effect with everybody kind of singing, or not chorus, a cappella type thing going on at first, with the guys all kind of singing together. Sounds really, really kind of, like something like ancient kind of, vibe going on there. Like in a cathedral, something you hear in a cathedral, and then bam, pop goes the drums from Cozy Powell yet again on here, and we're off with Tony Martin belting out some vocals and a heavy riff by Iami, and just a really, really blast of a song to kick it off. It's definitely one of the strongest songs off here too, I'd say. It just really sets the tone of this album and what you're getting into, and just kind of shows off how it's going to be. And so we get that really cool, really kind of, and it almost feels like a trek a little bit, like you're just like going on and going on, like in a really cool way, not in a repetitive way, but just it really is an awesome song. Then we hop into the fast-paced Lawmaker, and man, I love the deep kind of almost growly type range that Martin can get, very, very similar to Dio's that he can get on some of his like more deeper notes, like when he says Lawmaker. It's such a badass sound. I love the riff on this one, and it's once again Cozy Powell, and he just really, he's one of my favorite drummers of all time, and it's, he's been, like I said before, in a hell of a lot of bands, and just every time he just brings this big feel to the albums, and it's, hell, he helps produce it, even like, just like on Headless Cross, him and Tony Iommi produced this one as well. Hence the very, very kind of samey production and really atmospheric sound on here. But you know, the Lawmaker, he just really, it's a fast-paced one, and it just gets you pumped up while still continuing that Nordic theme. Then we got possibly my favorite off here, Jerusalem, and my God, this one has got some of the best freaking Tony Martin vocals out there. I love the, and you know, I love the, during that first like pre-chorus, how he just kind of changes it up instead of like how that first pre-chorus is different than literally all the other pre-choruses throughout it. So it kind of makes that one pre-chorus stand out. Really cool. Then you get into the chorus where he just kind of rattles off, you know, where will you go when it all goes wrong? And then you hear the, you know, and when you're on your own, and then the band does their like background vocals and gain vocals, chanting Jerusalem. Such a badass tune. I'll never forget hearing that one for the first time. I was like, whoa. That does not sound like your typical Sabbath song, but in a, you know, in a good way. I mean that in the best way possible. Like it's a huge standout. Then we end that side one with the epic, the Sabbath Stones that just, even though again this is not like dark and satanic sounding, this is a dark Nordic song because it's got this just crunchy riff from Miami going on in this kind of just this marching, doomy kind of groove to it that you would expect from Sabbath, you know, that may be, you know, which is really cool how they kind of implemented that same kind of doominess into like this whole other theme. And then, you know, this one's got kind of its acoustic little breakdowns with Tony Martin just belting out them vocals, and then in the end, all of a sudden, bam, the pace picks up with an awesome time change, and it just, you get the speeding on through again. So a hell of a song. Sabbastones is also one of my favorites off here. This album overall, I mean, look, we're just side one, bam, great stuff all over. Then we open up side two, and this side two, these first three songs are kind of one piece. This is like a masterpiece right here. We're talking about the Battle of Tur, Odin's Court, and Valhalla. Those all three lead right, and they're pretty much like one song, all in, you know, in the pieces. And the Battle of Tur kind of opens up with like this, you know, kind of really, not medieval, but, you know, gospel-y kind of choir sounding, you know, stuff. And it almost sounds like the battle, you know, is going on. And that's a really quick one. And then it goes into the soft, really acoustic stuff with Odin's Court. And just the beautiful, beautiful, soft acoustic guitar playing from Tony Iommi. You know, he's really, obviously, he's like the riff master and is best known for his heavy stuff, and I'm all about it. But man, he, you know, he can do some really good soft stuff too. And Tony Martin's voice on that, especially the final kind of line he has in Odin's Court before they enter the Valhalla portion of the song, man, it's some of the best vocal work he's ever done. Those smooth and clean vocals out there that he's ever done, I think. Then we enter in with the big, you know, he just yells Valhalla. And man, the synth, Jeff Nichols, you know, he's been in the band, like I said, for a long, long time now. Just wasn't credited during the 70s pretty much. But, you know, he kept getting better and better, I think, as these albums went on. And just becoming more and more prominent. And boy, oh boy, during that chorus, right before it enters, he does like this awesome, plays this awesome keyboard chord, you know, synthesizer chord. And then you get the banging drums from Powell. And just this massive roar of a chorus. The winds of Valhalla. I mean, man. And Martin hits, yet again, some of the highest notes he's done. He has such a great, you know, just voice. It's just a damn shame how underrated of a singer he is, you know, and goes kind of under the radar compared to all these other Sabbath singers, because he's hitting just incredible notes with this incredible range. Valhalla is a huge, like, if I was going to say, hey, you want to hear Tony Martin's vocal range? Go check out Valhalla. You know, that's one of those ones I'd be like, take a look at that and see what he can hit, you know. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. That is a masterpiece. Those three pieces all in one. Battle of Tur, Odin's Court, and Valhalla. And that is like possibly the best moment on this album, is just that whole lineup right there. And now we get to the only song that it was the single off here that and it's also the ballad off here. And I don't think this one really has anything to do with the Nordic kind of theme going on here. Feels good to me. And, you know, you may think it would maybe take you out of the whole thing or whatever, but it really doesn't to me. I love this ballad. Definitely one of my favorite Black Sabbath ballads out there. Really, really powerful stuff, and it's got a really cool riff in the chorus that kind of picks up the heaviness, and a really kind of cool bluesy solo, really emotional solo from Tony. Then we end it with, again, one where Jeff Nichols really shows out on the keyboard. Heaven and Black, and that one just picks right back up with the Nordic theme. And maybe Feels Good to Me is somewhere, I'm just not catching it, but it definitely doesn't feel like it's fitting in with any of that, you know. But Feels Good to Me is also, it's one of my favorites off here, and so is Heaven and Black right here. Just incredible keyboard and synth playing from Jeff Nichols, and I love the pre-chorus. To me is even better than the chorus, how it, you know, he just kind of goes, Martin just vocally just goes, climbs down the ladder, man. But don't get me wrong, that damn chorus is hooky too. And I think Heaven and Black, while it's not maybe the most fitting ending to this, I feel like maybe the Battle of Tur Odin's Court in Valhalla would have been the best closing to this, that, you know, three-piece masterpiece, you know. I think that maybe swap Feels Good to Me in Heaven and Black and put them atop those three tracks. I think that maybe would have been the best, but that's just me being nitpicky. Heaven and Black is a fine closer and a great song. But yeah, guys, I mean, I just absolutely love this album. I was really stoked to get this on vinyl. One of my most rare copies of, you know, most rare records I have. This is an original press. I actually just got this in like a week or so ago. I've had like Headless Cross, one of my most rare ones too. And I've had that for some time now, but this one I ordered in, and man, you know, such a great album to own. Really, really incredible hearing it on vinyl. Great production. And sadly, looking at it next time here, Tony Martin gets the boot from the band. You know, I mean, it's bittersweet. It sucks that we're losing him, but next time we're also gaining back Dio. But also another kind of crappy thing is they kick out Cozy Powell out of here. You know, so, and just for Vinny Appice, which is, you know, Ronnie's buddy. And I get it, and I love Vinny Appice, don't get me wrong, one of my favorite drummers, but I like Cozy better. Then another plus, though, from the lineup change is Neil Murray gets the boot on bass, but we get back, finally, Geezer freaking Butler joining back on 1992's Dehumanizer. So we get a whole new lineup on there, a whole fresh sound. You know, maybe if you haven't been digging the Tony Martin stuff like I have, because I freaking love it, maybe you can get into Dehumanizer, because, man, you want to talk about a great, just such a well-done, produced album. We'll take a look at that one next time, and I'm super hyped to look into it. And we're getting really close here, because there's not any 2000s Black Sabbath studio albums. There's, you know, so we've only got a couple more albums here in the 90s, and then we got the big ending of 13. So we're powering through this, guys. The 70s seem to take the longest, and so do the 80s, but we're here in the 90s on the tail end of this series. Tell me what you think about this record right here, guys, because I think it's a hidden gem in the Sabbath discography that really, I mean, I prefer to listen to albums all the way through anyways, you know, when I'm listening to them. But like this one in particular, it does so well if you just listen to it all as one piece. Man, it's just, this album is yet again another Sabbath masterpiece. How many do these guys have? You know, it's just timeless stuff. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this, and what you think about the whole, them shifting the kind of theme and going with the whole Nordic thing, and then, of course, booting pretty much the majority of the band and getting in Dio, which is, you know, kind of wishy-washy on who they would put in the band, you know. But, you know, I would have kept around Cozy Powell, maybe, like on drums. That would have been one of my only wishes. But Dio, welcome back. Geezer Butler, welcome back. And Vinny Appice, that's fine. Welcome him on in, too, for next time when we look at 1992's Dehumanizer. Thanks, guys.